perfect start to any charity shop sourcing video is a odd hallway.
Yeah.
Into a porter cabin.
It's not a porter cabin.
It was 100% a porter cabin.
Was it?
In a car park.
Oh, yeah, okay. It was like a modern...
Welcome to Langport.
Yeah.
Langport.
Is Langport?
Langport.
Not Langford?
No, it's Langport.
Okay, fair enough. I just do the drive-in. I just do the drive-in and move.
I'm wearing pink today, and do you know what? I just feel out of sorts because of the pink.
Yeah.
It put me off kilt.
That's twice this week you've worn pink.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me.
I don't
having
either.
a midlife crisis.
We are recording the vocals to this the day after the POSHMARK event.
We are poshmarked out. No, we could never be. We could never be.
Code Luxury Pickers.
Code Luxury Pickers.
£5.
For £5. It was 20. It's gone down to 5. I told you to be quick.
We said it. Do it.
We didn't know the time frame of the 20, but they did seem to have done it for just over 24 hours, I believe.
Yep, it was the introduction day, I believe.
There was a lot of referral codes flying around, and I think they not regretted it.
But I think it kind of banged a lot more than they thought it was going to bang, which is great.
Anyway, if you haven't already joined POSHMARK, then join POSHMARK. We're going live at the end of the month. We'll announce it tomorrow. I think we're going to announce it.
Yeah, we are.
We'll announce dates and talk about what we're going to do. That's what I'm saying. And we'll talk about how we're going to shimmy. Okay?
Yep, and chamois.
Found this. Vision.
This is a streetwear brand. Started in the mid-70s it's based around BMX and skateboarding. So it's kind of like, I guess, Vans or those kind of brands.
Cooler, I think.
It had a kind of revival maybe about 10 years ago, and they kind of brought all that kind of newer stuff, which that is, out. They go for something like that, which is a long sleeve t-shirt with the screen print, probably between 25 and 30, the classic reseller figure.
They sell it at an end though. It hasn't got a huge retail price point, between 50 and up to 100, and depending on the item, if it's a coat, if it's...
I think it's like one of those things, like a bit like Carhartt, a bit like Vans, that in as much as when they have their moments, the prices seem to go up slightly. Yeah. But the reality is they are just skate brands, so don't expect kind of anything crazy. But 25 to 30 for, I think it was a couple pounds.
£3,
there you go.
Austin. £3.
A few pounds,
and
not a couple.
And it's got the spell out down the arm.
I did mention that.
The
screen
kids
printed.
are saying hit.
A hit on the arm and a hit.
The arm.
If anyone says a hit on the arm around me, you know what they're getting?
A hit on the arm.
That's exactly what they're getting, Bethany.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm not a violent man, but I can be pushed.
It was the one thing we found in the porter cabin of doom.
Yeah, there was. I was going as far as to say there was very few items here. The funny thing was there was lots of like bric-a-brac and what would you call it? More brick than brack.
What would I call it? Like sort of.
Watch your mouth now. Easy on the language.
Like those small charity shops in like tiny quickly. Towns,
Yeah, I feel like there's not a lot of what do you call it, like
variety.
No, not so much that, but there's not a lot of throughput. So if you go there like today, I'm afraid this time next week it's going to be the same things.
Yeah, it's more of a community centre now. They've got little tables. You can go in for a coffee and a chat, and they help you.
They
with
were having a chat.
I
do feel like we were kind of annoyed them, but we bought something.
Yes, this is a good one though. This is on the corner.
Tucking your tag in.
Thank you.
See, that's true love, isn't it? A tag tuck.
I don't know if that's what they call it these days, but you tagged my tuck.
Well, I could give you a hit instead, couldn't I?
Yeah, a hit on the arm. Anyway, this one I think.
If we sound at all, sorry, I got to break it down now. Yeah. If we do sound at all lethargic right now, it is because we are. I think I'm losing my voice, and it was a good event. It was a great event actually, but it was a big drive for us as well, like 3 or 4 hours round trip.
A round trip, yeah. It was up in Birmingham. The next one is in London. On the 27th of June in Shoreditch, which is really cool. If anyone wants to come join us for bagels, then come on down.
Bagels?
Yeah.
What an invite.
Or we could just wander around Shoreditch and go in all the really cool vintage stores. Great vintage stores in Shoreditch.
They do indeed. This is a Gant coat, is it not?
It is a Gant coat.
For a second, I thought I knew what it was, but for a second I thought, is this actually the Gant coat?
Well, we don't really pick up Gant, and
no,
Austin
that's why I said
questioned
that.
it. And it's got those really cool hooks. I love those hooks. Ralph
Fireman
a
hooks.
Little bit, yeah. And because we don't do Gant, I was like, it was £8. I was like,
it was lovely condition.
I love that.
Yeah, it was lovely condition. It's a great size. I think it's either a XL or double XL. If it is an XL, it fits like a double XL. Yeah. Once again, like, what would you expect?
I don't know. I haven't even looked at comps on that one. I put comps in.
Okay,
we
great.
can learn together, eh?
Great. At the end of the day, a GAN coat retail would be
Expensive.
maybe £150 to £200, depending on the
A
fabric.
bit more than that, I think.
Thank you. Anyway, these are Brooks. These are Brooks Bedlam. That's what they are. I remember that.
Makes me think of Babylon, and that makes me think of David Gray, and then I think Babylon.
Oh.
Yeah?
No.
Yeah?
No,
£8 you paid.
The song. £8 I paid. I did indeed.
Retail is 140.
They were flying it running shoe.
They
from
are.
Brooks. We've been picking up a lot of Brooks more recently. I say picking up a lot more Brooks. I think
We've been seeing a lot more.
We've seen a lot more Brooks. Yeah, exactly that. I was going to say anything to talk about on this reel, because this is kind of from my point of view. I know what I'm seeing, but what are you seeing?
Oh no, I was going to tell you how much retail on the Brooks would be 140, and I think we get about £50 back for the Brooks.
I think the last couple of pairs of Brooks we've done, maybe the last month or so,
in half an hour.
Like, they are quick sellers, aren't they?
Especially men's.
And especially, I would say, I think Vinted, we saw one on Vinted, and I believe one on, actually both on Vinted,
Both
maybe.
on Vinted.
Yeah, quick sales. I think we sent, for those, we sent an offer, maybe knocked £5 off, and instantly sold.
Bob's your uncle, and there's no fees. This is a 1970s blank football style shirt.
No, it wasn't blank. It was Dunlop, I want to say. Yeah, it was Dunlop.
It had no...
Yes, you are 100%
graphic.
correct. I'm trying to show you the label with one hand, which is totally useless.
Cool,
it was really cool, actually. I probably should have got it. But once again, I think something like that, like, you don't want to get lost in kind of a sea of listings.
Yeah, and Dunlop isn't the most desirable brand in the world.
It's not.
But while Austin was fiddling around in the t-shirts, I was actually doing something very exciting on the other side of the room.
What were you doing?
And that's why I was annoying him when he was throwing Outfit Industries at me.
We actually picked an Outfit Industries t-shirt recently, which was actually sold. But before it sold, we had an offer. Someone said, these sell online for blah, blah, blah. Like, I can't even. It's just...
Anyway, these are some Kate jeans. Kate. And we're going to go with Kate. And if it's not Kate, then...
Yeah, I
don't know what we're going to do.
This was on our Instagram stories, actually, so yeah.
These are an American brand. Their denim wear and their jeans and their trousers can go up to 400. And they start at about 3-ish. Anyway, it's a very high-end brand. They sell it on Net-a-Porter, etc., so on and so forth. I'm hoping to get 150 to 160 out of them. They're the Vanessa Dream. We paid £4. They're high-waisted. I'll put all the logos on the screen, as always. They're high-waisted... they're not long leg because they're high waisted. They look like they got a long leg, but they're straight leg. They're not as skinny.
Yeah.
So I think they'll sell really well.
And once again, a brand to look out for.
A brand to look out for. Kate, Khaite.
Why would you try to spell it though?
Because I've been trying to be helpful to the folks at home.
We'll put the logo right on.
Well, okay.
And they can see that.
I was going to be double helpful for people to learn visually and hearingly.
Verbally even.
Peruvian Connection.
Look at that.
A size large. It's a Pima cotton knit. It is boring. In terms of connection, in terms of Peruvian, we like a floral number.
I was going to say, you're talking about prints though. That as regards like actually kind of like, what would you say, embroidery and how it's put together is much more exciting than a plain Jane just up and down dress.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that. It's a size large. It's in that nice sort of like cornflower blue.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
£5 fiddy.
It's what I like to call the right side of purple.
No, the right side of purple, eh? £5.50. We should do it. We should do a comfortable 50 to 60 on that kind of thing.
Especially just like the length. Those long dresses do really well from that brand.
If you get the floral ones or the alpaca knits, then that's where the money is truly. I have pulled my back, and honestly, doing this is quite strenuous.
Well, recording the
ladies and gentlemen,
recording the vocals.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing an abnormal yoga stretch while we record this as we speak.
You are.
Anyway,
I'll put a picture. Okay.
There are so many great brands in this shop, and we do a roundup of all the things that we purchased or chose to purchase at the end. I also think all charity shops should have a deciding sofa.
Yeah.
I will show you in a minute.
Did you leave it in?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, whenever, if it's any brands, just hit me with this one.
I've already sold this. So this is a Hush, size small, Cespion. It means something like, do it now. Yeah, something like that. I looked it
Okay.
up. I like to look up all the French phrases.
Their spell out slogan, t-shirts and sweaters go really, really quickly from Hush, don't they?
I think it was £4 or £4.50. I'm not quite sure, but I sold it in a bundle on Vinted, so I got about 20 for it in the bundle. This in Austin's hand is I got so much stuff.
So much stuff in it.
Austin puts it down. He picks it up, puts it down, and we're just so we can confirm what it is.
We're actually talking about other things. The thing is, we're doing it's like anyone, I guess. We're doing like 3 things at once. Bethany's telling me what she has. I'm telling her what I have, and then I'm saying about this top we're looking at now. It is actually a Kith collaboration, is it not, Bethany?
Yes, it's a Kith collaboration. For anyone who doesn't know, that's an Aquasusan shirt with double pockets. It's £6.50, but it's in the house check, so it should do an easy £60 to £70.
I actually think that's a lot more contemporary. Looking at it for a second time,
vibes.
yeah, with the pockets,
Yeah, I like
and the
it a
large
lot.
pockets too. So yeah, I agree.
So this is a Kith number. Kith is, for anyone who doesn't know, it's an American brand, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's Ronnie
Flegg. I never say it right.
Feig, I think it is.
We'll put
Anyway, he's done 100 collaborations with 100 different companies. He's kind of like a visual artist, designer, etc., etc., etc. He's in things like from Coca-Cola to Porsche to many different massive companies. This was a collaboration with
BW something something. You saw it on screen then. I don't know why you put me on the spot like that. Like, you knew what the initials were. BWYH or something like that.
There you go.
Anyway, last sold was $175.
Wowzers. Was that Grailed?
It was on Grailed,
Yeah.
yes.
Anyone who doesn't know, Grailed is a great site for kind of older, more vintage pieces, or like this, maybe newer pieces, which are kind of more hype beast. Yeah, I was just going to say hype beast stuff.
I don't know how much we paid for that, £4?
And if anyone doesn't know what hype, it's for £4. If anyone doesn't know what hype beast means, it's kind of like I guess a younger, more kind of a hip version of what is very contemporary at that point, and is kind of
Cool.
trendy, as my mum would say.
Desired.
Yeah,
In the streetwear realms.
indeed.
These were some sea salt dresses. Would have purchased them, but I am trying to stay away from small size sea salt because I have some of it at the moment, and it is slower selling than the over 14 sizes. And I never thought I would say that because I love picking up smaller sizes in designer wear, but I've said it.
Yeah, I actually think we had a message the other day from someone who was looking to buy a size, I think it was like 14. And the person we were speaking to was like a size 10, and she said, I'd love to buy them bigger. Yeah. So that's very interesting too. So I don't know if that, like the actual size 10s and 8s actually sell to people who are 10s and 8s.
This goes against everything I stand for in life. This is a Ted Baker.
The fact you say that hurts my soul. There's nothing wrong with Ted Baker necessarily, but
No,
there's not a lot.
Really isn't.
As regards reselling, a lot of Ted Baker is just so generic and meh.
If you have worked,
Snorefest.
You have been to a Ted Baker outlet, I swear you will never buy it ever again.
Yeah, it becomes so dirt cheap, doesn't it?
Churned out.
Like you can buy a shirt for like a £5 and you.
However, I do think the highly graphic stuff.
Yeah, you like
with
that, like that.
graphic prints work really well. That's a maxi dress, and I thought
The length of that dress also.
I thought for wedding season.
Yep.
I think it would be a good buy for someone to wear to a wedding.
I think if you turn up in that in a wedding, you're looking to outshine.
Yeah, and that would have been a very high retail piece. So we paid £9 for it, and I've listed it for £100.
That would have been about 250, 300 at least.
About 250.
Yeah.
Nothing on the website really is about 300. It's not as much as you think it is. I always think of Paul Smith and Ted Baker together because they're both men's names.
And Paul Smith is far superior.
Yeah. Also menswear Ted Baker seems to do well. I feel like the men folk like a Ted Baker.
I think it's one of those middle ground brands. I think people recognise it. They think it's a brand. Like I just said, you can buy a shirt from the outlet for like £7-8 and it's
those
insane.
Plastic totes they do.
There's some vintage Reeboks. They were just kind of done, so I didn't pick them up. I do like buying vintage shoes. I know a lot of people complain about crumbling and stuff like that, but if you put in the listing, Pinot Cruises, what a vibe. If you put in the listing that they are vintage and they're more kind of I've actually put in some of our listings that these are for display or collecting purposes as opposed to wearing, because what will happen is someone will get them, they'll try them on, even though you've told them they're going to crumble, they'll put them on, they'll send a picture saying they're crumbled, they're no good, and you'll say, well, that's what I said in the listing. And actually a few times eBay that's happened, especially when they've been eBay sales. eBay will actually will go in your favor because you've said they're not for wearing. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that.
Okay, Austin, thank you for that. dialogue that you just gave us.
Drivel, I would say.
I was talking about the tote bags from Ted Baker. They do sell well. If you pick them up cheap and you sell them for a reasonable amount of money, they do sell quite quickly and highly desired. This is a kin top. I've been selling kin really well. This is a Breton stripe. It's not Breton stripe, I understand, but I say Breton stripe.
About every stripe in the world.
Navy and cream, and it is a size 16. So that should go quite well. It's quite lightweight, so I'm thinking just as a cover up or like to throw on your Cornwall holiday.
These were very, very similar, like almost identical actually to a pair of Patagonia shorts we bought recently. And these are actually from Primark.
Paid £4 for the kin, just so everyone knows, for £4 or £5, and I've listed it for 30.
I was watching, I can't remember who it was, someone on YouTube recently, and they said, if I get it wrong, don't worry, it's on there somewhere, you'll see it. So it's not that we're saying it's £5 and it's £4 because we're trying to be sneaky, it's just simply we don't remember.
These are some shorts with boats on.
They're off.
They're Ralph.
They're Ralph Lauren. They're actually, the thing with these are really nice. The problem is they are underwear and it says so on the label. So you can't really sell them as full kind of line. You can't sell them as polo.
Some people do wear them outside.
Oh, they do. Like, there was a whole trend. I'll actually put a picture here. There was a whole trend of people buying the horse pajamas, which actually I have some somewhere. And they're kind of the multi kind of pony logo all over print. And people wearing these outside as like joggers. And all of those were underwear.
Mm-hmm. The sofa of decision.
So I don't know about you guys, but
I felt American because all the Americans have loads of room in their thrift stores and they can decide what they want.
Yeah, because usually like you're butted up against someone else, literally butt to butt.
And there's like an old lady like Deirdre's trying to spy on what you're putting back.
Yeah, but like you're gonna stiff her anyway. We go through everything we buy at the end. Like if we've got a chunk of stuff, because some things I don't know if you guys are the same. Put in the comments if you are. When you're in the moment, you're picking up. Oh, well, this is good. This is good. Should we get this? Should we get this? And even whether you pick with someone else, whether you pick on your own, you have to have that kind of moment where you think to yourself, oh, shall I? Shan't I?
Editing.
One of the other key pricing things me and Bethany use, which sounds really random, is we work out, would we pay it at a boot sale? And vice versa, when we're at a boot sale, would we pay it in a charity shop? Mm-hmm. So if I wouldn't pay it at a boot sale, I mean, charity shops are slightly more expensive than boot sales, I know. But in actual fact, what the kind of stuff we pick up, that's not always the case.
These are the couples, by the way.
Oh, these are really nice.
These are £7, a red and white stripe. They're like a narrow leather.
They're silk, aren't they?
They're small. They're not silk, no, unfortunately.
Are they not?
No.
Ah.
They're the good old poly and ester.
They're a very good polyester. They're not like, they don't feel like polyester.
No, they're nice. They're high quality. They've got a roll cuff, and they just look really nice, like in a relax or like a little white tank or something.
What was retail?
A retail would have been 3 figures, easy.
Like, that's what I'm saying, at least 100.
Yeah,
exactly that. The coupons, don't sleep on the coupons. A lot of people look at it the same as like All Saints, that kind of like that kind of level, way off. Like All Saints is expensive retail, but the resale is unless it's a leather jacket or something iconic, it's not as high as you'd think. The coupons, their resale is amazing.
Yeah.
Anything from a coupon we sell for great money.
The more grunge is better, the more rock and roll the better. The
leather, studs, black, agreed.
I'd like to give a shout out to that woman who folded impeccably.
She did, didn't she? 100%.
This shot was absolutely rubbish, but I wanted to show you these Doc Martens. So they were in the window. They were a men's size. The insole was very worn, but it didn't matter.
There was also, I think there's also some cracking on this one. I want to say that
they had polished on. They had used a polish on top of the toe, but it was the wrong colour.
So it was a red or a brown, but it wasn't. Yeah, I see what you're saying. No, I was talking about the crack. I don't know if you can see me pointing. Don't you? Can't.
There is actually a way to solve cracking on a Dr. Martens.
Once they're done, though, they're done.
They crack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, there's like this.
Oh, you mean I think does make them supple so they don't crack? I see what you're saying.
A thing. That it's like a polyfill or something.
Oh, okay.
Seriously?
Oh no, actually, I've seen that on car seats. Actually, I know what you mean. And it's stretchy though as well.
I've never tried it. If anyone's
bond.
tried fixing Doc Martens, because when they crease, they crack.
Yes.
Anyway, we have now transported to South Peverton. If anyone's ever been to South Peverton, big up.
I'll be honest, you probably haven't. Nonetheless, there's a couple of charity shops there. They can be good, can't they? They can be bad, but they can be good.
Affluent small villages. Where they drop all their stuff off locally and then they go to the greengrocer and
I agree.
They get a paper from Greg.
From Greg. From that corner, I was just hoping that was a Orlando Magic shirt. It wasn't. It was a Primark one. Hurt my soul. This is interesting. This is Famous Stars and Stripes. The brand has recently been reignited. The brand is actually owned, or at least co-owned, by Travis Barker.
Yeah, he is the brand.
Okay, that's
he
what I
is
said.
fully the brand.
Okay, fully.
Free brand, I reckon 25 to 30.
Look at that. Look at that thing.
I've been looking more at like that Y2K, like, and like trying really
Stylistically.
hard to ignore the brand.
Okay, then that's hard for us, isn't it, being the luxury pickers?
Yeah. And looking at things stylistically. What I do in my head is I ask myself one simple question.
Is it freaking cool?
No.
Okay.
I ask myself, would Rachel wear it?
Friends.
Okay. If Rachel from Friends would wear it, then I probably will pick it up. Because she was like the most super stylish person.
Like of that era, she is like the Y2K.
Yeah. So I'm basing all my endeavours on that at the moment.
Okay, fair enough.
I did buy. It's not on film, but we'll do a haul probably at some point. I know we keep promising a haul. I did buy a long denim skirt today because I was jumping on that trend because I know long denim skirts are doing really well for people at the moment.
They're indeed, especially the button up right through the whole skirt.
Yeah. I left this on for all the Tottenham fans because I don't know what it was, but it looked quite interesting.
Same. Do you know what? You know how I am. I have to open things. I have to look in things. I mean, yeah, it's got a badge. It's got had something else. Had a program.
Did you look it up?
No.
I'll
put a computer. Probably worth several £1,000s.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But I didn't pick it up either way, so it makes no difference either way.
It's probably still there. I'm not going to lie to you.
I would guess it would be.
I did find these. These are Teva or Teva. I say Teva, you say Teva.
I love that kind of. It's like an Easter egg color. It's like Easter pack colorway from like.
Sunday.
I'll put the Air Force ones, which I'm referencing right now, up on the screen because these are Easter all day, every day.
They didn't have a price tag on, but the nice lady behind the till did £5 on them for us. We're going into the summer season, so they should sell really well. Those tri-bar, Velcro sandals from Teva or Teva are really popular.
The other brand to look out for that kind of similar style spectrum, they're still around now and they're still very popular now. But the kind of retro OG ones of those were like kind of the Reef. Do you remember Reef? REEF. Yeah.
I don't think anyone buys those though.
But like they were the ones.
Put comps in for Reef.
I'll put comps in. I'm not saying they cost thousands. I'm saying that was like the OG brand
but I haven't had anyone talk about Reef in a long time.
Reef's a thing.
But all the influencers were wearing these couple of years ago, the Tevas. And
Tevas are massive though.
That was the start of Gorpcore, I'm telling you.
The fact these are stacked though, that tells you need to, and the colourway, like that's not a traditional kind of like, you know.
We found some leather ones the other day and we didn't pick them up because weren't giving that full stylistic.
I'm going to go right on a limb and say they were like, they were retirement home vibes.
Oh, damn.
I said it.
That's hard hitting.
I said it, I meant it.
I meant it from the heart. Anyway, the last shop on this street is an RSPCA, which actually recently opened. Do you remember when it opened? It used to be a pet store, which is ironic, isn't it? Because it's now an RSPCA charity shop. It used to be a pet store.
I get it.
Get
it? 100%. I'm with you.
Get it.
Right behind you. We walked into that and I just remembered Bethany thought that lady was very tall.
Yeah, she was down on a chair.
Look at that.
Austin inspired a lot of Cindy stuff. We've sold Cindy stuff before, believe it or not.
When we first started reselling, we were like, we dabbled in everything like everyone does.
When we first started reselling by going to boot sales and...
Well, what happens is you start watching... We've always been luxury and clothing sellers, right, from day one.
That's what I said. We were resellers before, but
and what happens is you start watching people like Nick Hill or George Ross, and all of a sudden you find yourself in an abundance of Barbies or Buzz Lightyears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It just happens. It happens to the best of us, you know? And we clicked out of it and we realised the errors of our ways and we moved on.
And listen, I'm not hating on everything resellers. They do a great job. I'm just not about that life.
I am not about that life. Anyway, in this shop, we found some wonderful things. Well, I found some really good things. Austin found some okay things. So, first up is this Fred Perry skirt. Now, I would have loved this to be the Amy Winehouse collaboration, £6, because she wore Fred Perry pencil skirts.
Let's talk how iconic this is, though.
It's a Fred Perry tweed... Fred Perry tweed... pencil skirt
with an embroidered logo to the left or the right.
They seem to go for about £50, but if you can find the ones that Winehouse wore, then I'll include a picture here.
Cool.
Then you can do even
you
better.
got the money.
And then obviously she did a collaboration with them, and that stuff goes really well. These, on the other hand, are fabulous. £4.50 or £4.95.
So explain this to me, the branding then.
The Joseph Tricot. Joseph Tricot was founded by three brothers who had a hair salon in Chelsea. Long story short, they started selling in the 70s. And long story short, they started selling... Well, it opened in the 60s. But in the 70s, they started selling clothing in their hair salon. And they used to sell up-and-coming designers such as Kenzo,
yep,
Alea,
sorry, this is giving me
John Galliano.
that tracksuit's giving me fabulous vibes from like mid 2000s. I'll put
And
a
you look
reference here.
Sopranos. Anyway, later on, they started doing knitwear themselves. They opened department stores for high-end luxury designers that were up and coming. They basically were on the pulse of all pulses. They started doing their own knitwear, which now sells for hundreds of pounds. And then they became Joseph.
As we know today as Joseph,
Yeah.
which does really, really well. These are a pair of, I think, double XL, maybe even triple XL, Jordan, year two, kind of Y2K. Probably, I reckon around, like early 2000s. Kind of basketball popper pockets, joggers.
And I've listed those Joseph trousers because they were famous for their knits, especially their colourful knits. I've listed them for £160 because they are a slim fit. So, it's a certain
They were a vibe
customer,
though as well.
But they're really cool.
The Jordan joggers were, I think they were a few pounds, and they'll be listed for around about 50.
Wonderful.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. We'll see you
Have you
tomorrow.
enjoyed this?
Not particularly. My back really hurts.
Okay, well, we'll try to see what we can do with that, and we'll see you soon for a haul. Bye.